video. So I want to talk about red dirt in the Carolinas, specifically South Carolina, and how we used to like eat it, and the elders, they still do eat it, and they ate it for years. Unfortunately, you have to be very careful where you get it from, because certain people decided they wanted to taint it and, you know, cause a lot of pollution, which contaminated the red dirt. I never, like, by the time I came along, people weren't really eating it because of this, because they put so much pollution, dropping oil. I don't know why anybody would purposely drop oil, but they did, and it contaminated it. But as you see, it's very vibrant and beautiful, and people used to use it for many reasons. It's good for your face, and to, like, if you have any type of sensitive skin, that's what, like, a lot of people, I used to, like, play in it, and it really helps your skin and stuff like that. So as you see here, it says the upstate region of South Carolina has red clay topsoil. Red clay soils are also known as ultrasols and are common in the humid temperature and tropical regions around the world. The red color comes from iron oxides in the bedrock, and the climate needs to be warm and wet for the soil to form. After heavy rains, the red color can even be seen in rivers and streams. So yeah, like growing up, you would always see it, like it looks, I don't know, it looks pretty, but you gotta be careful, because there is like some fish in there, or like certain animals that can like get on you or bite you. So I didn't really like getting in it when it was like that, but you can see it in the streams. And what people may not know is South Carolina is a very tropical kind of area. You know, we have palm trees. I think that's obvious, but a lot of people don't know that, apparently, because when I talk about like my home state and like how down south it's like kind of like island, like it's not like, obviously it's a huge state, right? And it's a lot of inland, but it's very tropical because we're on the coast and we're in the south, so it gets really humid and hot, which is my preferred climate. I like it when it's like a tropical area versus any other, but we do get hit with hurricanes and tornadoes. So the indigenous, mixed race, and like black Americans, in the south it's like mixed people and black people, indigenous people. Where I'm from, like it's a huge, there's actually a reservation about 20 miles from where I'm from. My family in particular are mixed race. They are black people, my family, you know. Obviously I have another side of the family which is white, but in like my dad's side of the family, it is black or mixed race. They're Afro-Indigenous, and like they're a bit white, but you know, that's just an admixture. Anyway, I say that to say, I don't really know, like I've never heard of my white side eating clay, but it is really big in like the Afro-Indigenous community. I can't speak for the white side, because they don't really do that, because, you know, their customs are different, I guess. But in mixed race people, and, you know, indigenous and black or mulatto, whatever, our people did. So it was like pretty big. And apparently this isn't just like on our like southern side of the world. People all over the world, I guess, may do this. But I've read that some do it for religious purposes, while others do it for health benefits. It's just a cultural thing. I'm going to state some of the reasons why we do it, or did it, I guess you would say, before it was contaminated. Usually the choice of dirt is red clay. There are medicinal, cultural, and religious reasons behind this practice. Some believe eating dirt is good for the baby, but there can be harmful effects when the soil contains pollutants or parasites. I wonder why. I promise you we weren't polluting it ourselves. Depending on the fact that our people ate it, we weren't going to harm it, you know? This has been going on for years, hundreds of years, all over the world. We wouldn't purposely pollute something that we're putting in our mouth. Some common causes of soil pollution include industrial activity, mining, waste management facilities, and industrial production can lead to emissions of hazardous materials into the air, water, and soil. Agricultural chemicals, pesticides, and fertilizers can be used in excess or applied to agricultural fields. Improper waste disposal, such as local waste disposal, can lead to soil contamination. Now, it's a bunch of ways, obviously, how this can happen. There is locals who just don't care about what's going on or what they're doing, and they just throw trash everywhere. And there is people as far as like big corporations who come in and put their power plants or their waste disposal things right there where, you know, the locals and the indigenous people live and breathe and eat, and they don't care. Like, they don't, instead of, you know, going out somewhere, they decided to put it right there where people get their food from. I know most people have heard about them contaminating water supplies, such as Flint, Michigan, because, you know, just not keeping up with the treatments. But they also do this when it comes to like food supplies, you know, where trees that bear fruit are growing or where locals swim. But some people care more about greed and making money than making it sustainable for all. And don't get me wrong, I know we have to dispose of waste somehow, but the way they were going about it was really wrong. And it wasn't just the government, it was locals who just wanted to cause ruckus and didn't care about the ethnic groups who lived there. But it was also corporations who didn't care. Like, they were like, you know, I want to put my plant right here, and I don't care if it pollutes the locals. I don't care if it makes the trees that bear fruit contaminated, because all they care about is making money, as I stated. We all know it, but I don't think that people even know how deep it goes and how some people, just because they're greedy or just want to cause ruckus, have stopped people from doing their traditions, have literally almost erased cultural practices. There have been reportings of certain people allegedly pouring gasoline on the dirt and others just letting their wastewater run onto it. And I know that some people maybe come from a different background and they don't know that these things can be harmful, but a lot of them do know it can be harmful, because gasoline, like, you know, gasoline is harmful. You know that the locals eat this dirt and you still did it. Not just dirt, it's also the trees, you know, planted into this dirt. It is also the fruit, the vines, and everything that is in this soil that is also being contaminated when people are purposely doing this. Some African Americans and Afro-Indigenous or mulattoes still live out in the country, but a lot of them moved more in towards the town because their homes were being polluted. So they moved in. Some of them were kind of pushed to move in because people will buy up all the land around them and make it a bit uncomfortable. I can recall an encounter I had when I was younger, where a grown man said to his son, "You know the ants eat this," as he proceeded to pour out his drink on it and then look at me and laugh. South Carolina has its racism, and people will deny it all they want to, but we all know it exists. And a lot of people contaminating it was just due to them being spiteful. If you own your land, then obviously you have access to the red dirt and everything around it. So that's why I push ownership, so that we can take control. But I am not at all judging our ancestors and our elders for moving out of an environment that made them uncomfortable. But now that we're older and there's more of us, I think that we should buy land and go back to our roots. As you see here, a lot of people in South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi who were African American or of African American descent, because I know that gets real tricky with people, but a lot of us, we owned land and it was stolen, and we really couldn't fight back, because how are we going to fight back? The cops don't care, you know what I mean? So, or didn't care at the time. Not necessarily saying that you need to eat red dirt or anything like that, but, you know, being able to grow fruit on trees and things like that. I know my grandmother always still had her garden, and she grew all type of vegetables and fruit. And my grandmother is Afro-Indigenous, and she stuck to her roots even though she lived in town. So for those of you who are interested in wondering how red dirt or red clay is formed, because it's so beautiful and vibrant, several circumstances contribute to formation of red clay soils. First, the bedrock must contain enough iron to produce the reddish iron oxides that color the soil. Second, the climate must be relatively warm and wet. Virginia.org. And that's very true. So like in the South, like I said earlier, it's really like nice, warm, it's a lot of moisture in the air, and it rains a lot. It's like It's beautiful, but it is the perfect environment for a hurricane, tornado. But it is, I love it. So that's how we get this beautiful, vibrant red dirt. And also the iron is why I think a lot of our elders and ancestors ate it, because obviously your body's going to crave iron, and that's a good way of getting it, you know, when we could actually use it. And this here map shows where the red dirt is on the map, and my hometown is right there in the middle. So yeah, we have a lot of nice soil that isn't red dirt or clay, but there is like other types that I also want to cover, but this is like one of my favorite, and it's always been one of my favorites since I was little, so that's why I made this video. So yeah, red dirt is awesome. I just wanted to share my history with it. I know that like people from all over the world eat it or use it for like face masks. When I was younger, I would play in it and my skin was always like butter soft. But I also knew the people who owned the place where I was playing in the red dirt. They were my family, and they owned their house for well over probably 80 years, because it was a family home. So I don't know, maybe longer than that. I'm not sure. Could be like 100 years. I'm not really sure, but I know that they owned it, but they were like, their parents and grandparents had owned it before. So it's pretty cool. I know of 2 cousins who are, you know, Afro-Indigenous, who live out there still, and he's been out there since I was a kid, but his parents owned it before him, and that's where I would use it. Or if you buy land, you know, check your land and test it, make sure there's no pollutants in it, and you could like use it on like, you know, to make masks and stuff. I'm pretty sure you can buy it, but like I'd rather live where I get it from. I don't know. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with buying it either. I'm just saying that I grew up around it, so I enjoy actually going out there and touching the dirt, as long as I know it's safe. I know there's other places who have really nice sand, and their sand has healing remedies that they put in their face. I seen like Danny's Lily's video a long time ago where she puts Dominican sand on her face to clear her, like say if she's having a breakout or something. That's basically what this is to people who are from the South. Or, you know, you can eat it too. As long as you know it's safe, you can eat it. But yeah, let me know. Do you have experience with this? Did you grow up eating it? Do you still eat it because you know it's safe and it's in a good area? Let me know. Talk to you later.